Every single person on this earth was born to create. It is quite literally our God-given birthright. I believe that everyone possesses the ability to create something, because creativity is really just the act of taking an idea from your head and bringing it to life. The only thing separating that idea from reality is your decision to make it come alive. Hey y'all, my name is East, and welcome to my creative series called Born to Create. This is the series where I try and demonstrate different activities that anybody can do or should try in order to tap into their inner creative. Today we are making a flower-shaped incense holder using air-dried clay. So like back in time before we had paintbrushes and cameras and fancy stuff like that, humans were creating with clay. It was actually like a foundation of like human technology. And over time, civilizations across
Mesopotamia.
Yeah, Egypt, China, Africa, and the Americas transformed clay into pottery and tools and sculptures and just everyday household items. Now, as far as for instance, that has its own kind of rich history. So I learned that more than 5,000 years ago, cultures across Egypt and China and Japan and even parts of Africa burnt incense during like ceremonies and meditation, religious practices, and even to just like against their homes. Actually, come to think of it, my first time seeing incense was in the movie Mulan. When she was up in that temple with her ancestors, that was my first time seeing incense. And today, incense is still used for relaxation and creating peaceful spaces. But if you're just like me, I just like a little smell good around the house. Now, let's get into this. This is everything you'll need. You need air-dry clay, a small bowl of water, a parchment paper, a craft knife or something to cut your clay with, acrylic paint, a rolling pin, and Mod Podge. So to get started, you want to add a little bit of water to your fingertips in order to mold and soften the clay. Air dry clay can be a little stiff coming out of the package, so this makes it much easier to work with. You don't want too much water on your hands to where it's sticky, but you want just enough to where it's smooth and shapeable. And once the clay feels smooth and shapeable, then you're ready to roll it out. I recommend rolling it out on a piece of parchment paper and not on no flat surface, because you don't want to be like me and it be all sticky and you can't get it up and stuff like that. So roll it out on top of a piece of parchment paper and also put parchment paper on top of while you're rolling it out. And don't make it too thick or too thin. You just want it enough to where it can hold its shape and be even all around. After it's rolled out, then we can work on the petals. So this is where you grab your craft knife and carve out 5 individual petals before layering them on top. Right here is where I started like freestyling a little bit. So after cutting the petals out, I positioned them how I wanted them to be and made sure to layer the pointy parts of the petal on top of each other across the center. Personally, looking back, I would have liked to push them closer in together so the flower itself isn't so spaced out. However, layer it however you see fit. Afterwards, I press the petals together with my fingers and then use my fingertips to mold and curl it up at the edges and slowly began shaping the flower to look how I wanted it to be. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be precise. You just, want it to look like something that you're proud of, that you like. Before it dried, I added a little bit more details, like a little bit of petals in the center and some other things to give it kind of that 3D effect. And after I was done, I poked a small hole in the center of it, because that is where the incense stick will be placed once everything has dried and hardened. Once you have poked your hole inside of your flower, then it is time to let it dry. You want to let it air dry in like a cool, relatively cool room temperature environment for about 24 to 48 hours until it has hardened. After letting it dry, it is now time to bring it to life. I decided to use acrylic paint for my flower, and I really took the time to like build up the colors. I was going for this sunset type, but there's so many different colors and flowers to draw inspiration from. After everything was finished, I sprayed it with a coat of Mod Podge to help it seal, and this will give it that glossy effect. And then that is the final product. Like I said before, like I'm really proud of this project. I really enjoyed the time that it took to create it, and it was like really fun, even though it took a little bit of time to do. But I had a lot of fun creating this, and I hope that if you decide to create this, you have fun as well, and that you're inspired to create more as well. So I hope you continue to follow me on this series, and I hope you continue to be inspired to be born to create.